Hello friends, welcome to CEC Gurukul Live Lectures. Dear friends, this is a session on career counseling where we are giving you in-depth knowledge that how you could make your career in the field of merchant navy. And for this discussion, we have with us in our studios Mr. Rishi Raj Rana. He is a chief engineer, and I would tell you all that he has been into sailing. He did lots of sailing as an engineer, and at present, he is giving his deep insight so that he could help students like you to make career in, yes, merchant navy who wish to have a successful career. Let's have more and more insights through him, and let's try to understand how you can make your way if you want to be in merchant navy. Hello sir, welcome to the session once again. So though we have discussed in detail about how one could make his or her way into merchant navy. Now the important and the pertinent question is, when I am aware, yes, I want to be in merchant navy. So since my school days, how can I prepare myself? As you said, your communication is very, very important. Or if I select some subjects which I know would be helping me out. So how mandatory and how important it becomes?
Right. So taking my own example, as I mentioned earlier, I was very clear about getting into merchant navy because I knew about this profession right from the beginning when I was not even in class 8th, right. So that is the exposure I had, but everybody is not that lucky. So what as companies they do, visit pan-India schools, right, for guest lecture there, introducing merchant navy as a profession there. So all details what we are discussing here, these are being presented by all companies in prestigious colleges as well as schools pan India. So that is the whole idea of reaching out to those schools, so that those candidates who are in class 8th or 9th and they will be choosing their subjects in class 10th, after class 10th, so they should be aware beforehand that what they should opt for, right. If you have already taken commerce, then you cannot get into merchant navy, so you have already switched to a different line, right. So they have to be very aware about what they have to opt after class 10th, and that is exactly what the presentations are all about, making them aware what subjects they should choose, what percentage they should score to get into a good company, because majority of the companies are multinationals, so they have their different criteria of entry. And although there is Shipping Corporation of India, which is the government sector, so they also hire candidates. And so that is the school part. So before class 10th, the presentations are made, and a lot of forums are there, and a lot of seminars also are conducted, private seminars are conducted by different organizations time to time to make them aware about merchant navy. So from there they have to get a clear idea what subjects, what percentage, and what future growth they are looking forward to.
And one needs to communicate more and work more on his or her English. So
right from the beginning.
Right, yes. From the beginning. Even if somebody is low at that point, one can practice if one wish to achieve the goal.
That's my personal experience I would share, because when we conduct interviews and we find some candidates just because of their mother tongue, probably they have not, they don't have a refined kind of English communication, we give them time. We don't outright reject them, right. So this option is there. The interviewer is not sitting there to reject a candidate, right. So that has to be very clear. Interviewers are sitting there because they need a candidate, but they want to select the best for the company, right. So English communication, we give them time, we tell them how to improve upon their English communication, and I have actually witnessed wonders. In 2 months, 3 months time, the person who could not speak in English was fantastic in English.
Wonderful.
So that kind of effort the candidate has to put in.
While taking the interviews, do you really check if somebody's personality really fits into this particular field? Does it is checked about?
Very important, because as I mentioned, this is a very peculiar kind of a profession, staying away from home, and a lot of work is there, a lot of stress is also there. So your mindset, your capabilities to be in merchant navy is tested from day one itself. When the candidate applies to a company, almost every company has a system of testing their different competencies in different ways at different levels also. It is not that if I am in Merchant Navy, so I will not be put through a psychometry test. So at every level from entry till they are in the company, they are put through various levels of psychometry test, and the whole idea of psychometry exam is that the person is fit for the job. So that is very important, and almost every company is conducting a psychometry exam also, technical exam also, and in the interview, based on the psychometry remarks, we counter question the candidate to understand whether the psychometry remarks are aligning with the answers. So you can easily get a fair idea whether the candidate is worth taking or you have to
From
let
this
go.
point of yours, it is clear that mental agility is very, very
Yes.
important. How important is the physical ability when you are thinking of to go into Merchant Navy?
Physical ability also, yes, you have to be physically fit. Again, these physical fitness criteria again have been mentioned very clearly on the DG website. So it is very clearly written about the eyesight, your height criteria, your BMI, all these tests are carried out before the candidate is finally put in the system, because you have to fulfill that requirement. So all those guidelines, everything is listed there, and it's a demanding kind of a profession. On ship, you have to face the heat also, you have to face the extreme cold conditions also. In the engine room, because I have worked in the engine room mostly, so I would say the engine room temperatures comfortably are in the range 45, 46, 47, it can be even 50. If you are working in Saudi, your ship is in Saudi in summertime, so it can reach 50-degree temperature. So for those conditions, mentally as well as physically, the person has to be very, very clearly prepared for, because later on you cannot say ki no, I am in the wrong place. So that is why again I will keep reiterating on the same point, that you have to research well before you get into this profession. Otherwise it can be a example of same condition, that pan to fire.
One
So
has
that
to
should
work
not
on
be.
the
Yes.
aptitude also, as well as on the physical fitness also.
Physical
As I
fitness
asked you, during my school days, how can I prepare myself? So one can prepare physically also, one can be physically fit also and work on it, so that sky is the limit, sea is the limit, sea is not the limit, in the same manner sky is also not the limit. Now we have also seen, and we have discussed also, there are challenges, as you yourself explained, that the climatic conditions sometimes are very, very different what we face in our day-to-day lives. And now boarding on a ship and then facing sea all around, does meant the sea sickness sometimes plays as a part of an obstacle. अब यहाँ नहीं रहना है और अब बहुत हो गया. Does it
Not
sometimes appear to
exactly,
the
yeah.
mind?
Initially, sometimes, so that is where these things mentally and physically, if you are prepared for all this, so then back of your mind you have that understanding that you have opted for it, you have signed in for it, right? So you have to build yourself to be away from home, be out at sea. Yes, seas are rough at times, it is very rough also. So all those weather conditions are part and parcel of this package, right? So you have opted for it, so you have to build yourself physically, mentally to face all those challenges. So that is the way to survival, and here I am, I have survived so many years, because I was very clear ki I have to be in Merchant Navy and there is no fallback. Right?
And yes, of course, that layer of great passion and determination
Yes.
is killing the airwaves go away
And
from
the
us.
biggest attraction to keep you motivated is the salary.
The sal-
that is paid in dollars. So it is tax free if you're maintaining your NRI status. So it is tax free.
So, to what time duration does one stays on the ship? One who is recruited for the particular job, what is the time duration for that?
Okay. So it's basically Merchant Navy, every ship is a contractual agreement, right? So when you board a ship, you sign a contract that you will be serving on that ship, and although you are in the same company, but every ship change is a contract. So you sign a contract, and contracts normally is 6 plus minus 1 month. So initially it is 6 months for cadets and junior officers, and as you grow in this industry, depending upon your company policy, it some places it is 5 months, some places it is 6 months, some is 7 months. So depends on the company.
So does a company hires you, or you yourself take the projects carried by different companies or different ships?
No, it is the company, because the company I am working with, I've been with this company long time now, and I was sailing with the same company. Now I'm ashore with the same company. So when I was sailing, so in my leave period, there is a something known as leave period also. So when you come back from your ship, you have to inform the company that you will be on this much time of leave, and after that the company reaches out again for your next assignment. So that is how the system works. Until unless you want to leave the company and you are finding some problem with the company, then definitely you would want to switch, and that is again the company would not hold you back.
So it's a lucrative field, I
Yes,
should say.
it is.
It is attracting you, seas are attracting you, and so is the salary packages,
Salary,
as
yes.
you yourself explained. Yes, salary packages, of course, they attract us, though we have discussed on this particular point that it is not easier for every student to make a way into this particular field, because the training costs are not that easy to make out. So are there any, I should say, the loopholes, not the loopholes, or the way outs or the escape routes? मैं चाहती हूँ, मैं करना चाहती हूँ, मैं जाना चाहती हूँ, काश कोई ऐसा रास्ता मिल जाए कि मेरा जो ये कॉस्ट कंसर्न्स हैं ये कहीं पर सॉर्ट आउट हो जाए. सो आर देयर एनी प्रोविजंस?
Yes, one I already mentioned, that is you have the loan facility available from almost all nationalized as well as private banks. But yes, then that interest part is a little higher. But yes, for some very competitive candidates, girl candidates especially, and there are a lot of initiatives available by the companies or the ship owners. They sponsor the candidates, but that is after you get selected with the company. Once you are selected with the company, then your profile will be sent to the owners on their request, because they want to sponsor you. So they will go through that profile, and they will understand that you are a very competent person, and they would want you in their team on for a long time basis. So that is how sometimes some owners, they sponsor also some candidate, but that is an option once you are already selected and you have made up a mind to work with a company.
So one can definitely make his or her way if somebody is determined, and if yes you have a little kind of help also, it will help you out. And as it is said, जो सोचा नहीं वो हो जाता है, और जो कई बार सोचा जाता नहीं होता, बस वो रास्ता बनाना होता है, उसके बारे में सोचना होता है, रास्ता बनाना है. इस बारे में इसलिए कह रही हूँ because we have seen when we are into different fields and after working I mean more than 2 decades, 3 decades, you feel so अब कुछ और किया जाए. So what after merchant navy, for all those who want to make their careers in the same field or in the different fields? So sky is still open for them, or seas, they are limited to the seas?
No, sky is always open, and there are ample opportunities available. As you mentioned, 2 decades or maybe more people sail, and some leave early also. But options are available there, because once you have sailed as a chief engineer or a master mariner, and you feel that you have earned enough and you have made reasonable good investments, and that is where you want to opt ashore. And talking about my own self, within the same company I had an opportunity to be ashore, so I opted for it. And so depending upon your requirements, you can reach out to your company, and ample opportunities for engineers as well as master mariners. Master mariners normally get absorbed into operations shore-based related to shipping only, but like we have our offices worldwide, companies have their offices worldwide. So people get into training also, in-house training. Every company has their in-house training department, so that is there, because again same thing, training is very important, and throughout your life you have to keep learning. So that department is there to keep a track. And some engineers, they get into shipbuilding yards, and some are ashore as technical superintendents, because technical superintendent is in charge of managing 4 or 5 ships sitting ashore. So that is an option. Then you asked other than shipping. So other than shipping, you'll find many of the ex-marine engineers, they are absorbed in the hotel industry, because the hotel industry, your refrigeration plants, your backup generators, all those machineries, the technical heads you will find ex Merchant Navy engineers. So that is, those companies prefer, because they know what kind of exposure you had earlier. So they know you'll be yes, experience counts. So they know you'll be able to manage that. Then some people get into their family businesses, because they think they have earned enough, so they want to take over the father's business or the family business, and those options are available, and some into training. So ample opportunity is available, but you have to be
One
sure.
should have that.
Yes, because again, sea calling should not be there. When you have made up your mind to be ashore, then you have to be ashore. So,
but one needs to take
yes.
take a decision, deliberate decision,
yes.
what one wants. If one really wants to be associated with the seas
And
in some way or the another way, yes, one can opt for that.
And both the sides, I would say, you have to have a very strong support from your family and friends, because going out at sea also, your family has to let go, right? And if they keep calling you back, then you will not settle out at sea, right? And similarly for ashore, they should be comfortable that now you have left sea and you are here, so you have to manage that way only. So
family support is one of the
yes,
most
the very
important thing. First, initially, when you are as a child, you get out from your house and you feel so that yes, the sea is my home now.
Yes.
And afterwards, when one has his own family, then one needs to think of again that whether the family will be able to cope up with you or without you. That becomes very, very important.
So in our presentation, or whenever we interact on such forums, so I do mention that mama's boy is not for Merchant Navy, right? So you have to be very sure, okay, you have to be out means out, right? So that is there.
So how do you motivate parents? For example, if I would say, as we discussed about how the girls are heading into this particular field, how you motivate them? Because still it is feel that girls should adopt a career where they could have a successful, peaceful life. Now, many of the cases might be, appearing before you, where parents would be suggesting, nahi, nahi, ye karke kya karengi, ye to, she'll be away from home. Now, it would be difficult for her to cope up with the family situations. How would it be possible?
So this is where actually interacting with the parents, we do interact with the parents, because parents themselves have a lot of queries, right? So we have to address those queries and to their satisfaction, because finally they are the decision makers of their house, right? We cannot force anybody into this profession. So we have to convince them, we have to give them examples, and if need be, our own seafaring girl candidates, when they are back home on their leave period, so they interact in the forums. We make sure they come, they go back to their school, they go back to their college as ambassadors of the company, and spread the word. So when it comes from a person who is already in that field and a girl candidate in that field, so they are the ones who would give the genuine feedback about the profession and about the company, right? So that is the best way of convincing parents. See, if this girl can do, why not your girl, right? So that is the way it is, and that is the way it should be actually. So girls are flying airplanes also, right? They are in Navy, they are in defense services. So why not Merchant Navy? And trust me, this is one of the oldest profession, and still people are not much aware about it.
Very true. As I have discussed earlier also, not discussed, but yes, I have raised a point where people are confused between Indian Navy and Merchant Navy. Please, specifically for those people who are still confused, please clear for them what is the difference in between both the fields when we talk about. Because it is very mandatory to talk about
definitely.
it.
I initially mentioned also, but I would again tell. Indian Navy, yes, one of the prestigious professions, definitely, but that is the defense part of the shipping. So you are working on the naval ship, the defense naval ships, so arms, ammunition, everything is there. So you are working in that stream if you are working in the Indian Navy. But Merchant Navy, as I mentioned earlier, it is related to the commercial aspect, right? The ships that carry or render services of a non-military nature are considered as merchant ships. So if you are working on that side, then you are working basically in the Merchant Navy. So that is the prime difference. One side is defense and the otherwise part is commercial.
So we believe that all the students who might have watched us or would be watching us through the YouTube would have a clear picture now what is Indian Navy and what is the Merchant Navy. And in any of the fields if you want to go about, what you need to do is you need to have determination and grit. Yes, you want to be in this particular field, and why you want to be, please answer that question also, because you need to answer yourself first.
Yes.
Because when we are able to answer ourselves, yes, the path is all ours. So as we are on the verge of completion of our session, once again would like to ask from you what students need to do, how they need to prepare if they really want to be in Merchant Navy. Specifically when they are in school, though we have discussed a lot, but through this session, because we have students, I would say worldwide, because the YouTube channel of CEC is watched not only in our country, but of course outside India also, but we have the rural India as well as the India where we have students, there are all facilities, we have all kind of information available to us, but the students who are still residing in the rural areas or in the villages, but they have big dreams, they want to be into the Merchant Navy. For them, what do you want to say?
Okay. If those people are watching us, then definitely I would say if you have reach to social media, so definitely follow some channels which and I would say authentic channels, because a lot of miscommunication also happens on social media. So please follow authentic channels. You can follow the company websites, and all information is provided on those websites. So try to find what is the career progression, how you can join. You can reach out to your particular government websites also, because every country in the world has their own Merchant Navy fleet. As I mentioned, for India, Shipping Corporation of India, you reach out to the Shipping Corporation of India website, DG website, dgshipping.com. You have all information given there about Merchant Navy, what you have to do, how you have to prepare yourself, what kind of exams are conducted, what is asked in the exam. On company websites, you will find even the interview pattern, what kind of interview, because I may not be interested in all the subjects the person knows. I would be interested what is valuable for my profession, right? So we would want to ask them those things. So that is how the candidates can prepare, and reach out to your placement departments in schools, your counselors in schools. So those are the people who can reach out to the companies, invite them for a short session on Merchant Navy, and that is how you can spread the word about the profession, and later it is up to the candidates what they want. Finally, if they make up their mind, they are most welcome, and we are sitting here as companies to absorb them.
Very true.
Because we have to run the ships.
Rightly said that we should communicate,
Yes.
and let's make this change the bigger and the biggest, so that everyone is aware of what Merchant Navy is and how you can make your way into Merchant Navy. So, sir, thank you so much for giving us this wonderful session where we discussed a lot. Though we feel that we know a lot about Merchant Navy, but frankly speaking, many points were explained by you which was unknown to me. So friends, we believe that you too would be learning a lot through this session, as we are going to upload this lecture on YouTube for you. So if you have any queries afterwards, do write to us at cecgurukul.live@gmail.com. We'll try to give answers to your question through Mr. Rishi himself. We promise you, we will help you out, and we are going to meet again next Thursday, and we would be discussing on another important topic related to your career. So keep watching us, keep writing us. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.